eagle is probably one of those, maybe the most predominant bird in all the world, okay? The eagle does not get messed with by other things in the sky. So if the eagle's flying in the sky, you're not going to see some kind of blue bird or red bird go over there and try to attack the eagle. It's just stupid because the eagle's going to obviously win. The only bird that attacks the eagle is the crow. Now, the crow never wins, but the little pesky little crows that most of us don't like, and actually when the eagle's flying in the air, the crow a lot of times will land on the back of the eagle or fly down and start pecking at the eagle's neck and start messing with it. And one of the funniest things, you guys can look it up when you get home if you don't believe me. You can look it up. The eagle, when this happens to the eagle, instead of the eagle turning around and bugging it off or giving it attention, it pays the crow no attention and it just flies higher up in the sky until it gets to the point where the crow can't really breathe as well and it starts losing oxygen and the crow eventually just falls off. And so it's just it just kind of flies on up. And then, and so I want you guys to picture that in the house. That's kind of funny, but I want you guys to picture that because it's kind of similar to when we think about temptations in life. When that little thought comes in, or that temptation, it's going to be like a little crow pecking at your neck. It's going to bother you. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But if you don't pay attention and you just keep your focus on God and say, oh, that's a lie, I'm not getting into that, then you will fly high on wings like eagles and overcome the temptations of the world. It's kind of funny. That's kind of why it says that in the Bible in a sense, I think. In Isaiah 40, verse 31, and I'll read it off to you guys. I think it applies. It says, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So when God tells you that when you put your faith in the Lord and you'll rise up like wings like eagles and you won't grow faint or weary, when temptation comes your way in life and that crow starts pecking on your neck, when you put your faith in God and you trust in Him and say, I'm not going to give that crow any attention, I'm not going to give that temptation, that sin any attention, then you'll soar on wings like eagles and you won't go tired and weary because God will constantly renew your strength. It's pretty amazing when you think about it like that. And the last point I want to leave you guys with tonight is this. To overcome temptation is to get an accountability partner. Accountability partners are humongous in your life. You may say, what is an accountability partner? It's somebody that I can trust that's living the right way, they're doing things that maybe they don't struggle with sexual morality, maybe they don't struggle with alcohol like I do. Somebody that I know is not really struggling with this, they can keep me accountable to not give into that sin. And if they see me start going off the path, this friend of mine, this accountability partner, will be willing to pull me back on the right path. They'll pull me in the right direction. When I start going the wrong way, this friend of mine will pull me back in the right way and help me fulfill the call of God on my life. I want to give you guys a real story, two stories here. One is when I was in track. I wasn't the fastest guy. And when I came out there my freshman year, and I was running college track, I was going to college really for football as a kicker. But I ran track in high school, and I had done okay, but I was not near good enough to run in college. And they asked me to come out there and to try it. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And there was like 3 or 4 guys on the team that were very fast and very good, a lot better than I was. So I went out there, and they said, our first workout after football season is to run 20 200-meter dashes. And not full speed, but relatively fast. And they said, you don't have to do all of them. I know you're probably tired, and you're not going to be in that kind of shape to do that. So you just stop when you can. For the first practice, we'll kind of let it go for the day. But I was a freshman. I was like, I don't want to limp out here. So I was like, well, I'll try to make it, coach. And about like 10 in, I was like, boy, I am really feeling it. These guys are just like running like it's no problem. And I was like, I don't know what these guys are human. And I was running. And some of the guys on the team, they were very good spiritual guys and really nice and encouraging at that time. And they're like, oh man, you got this, man. And they were encouraging me and supporting me and like motivating me and maybe even running close beside me. And I finished all 20 of those 200s.
Are you saying they're not anymore than you said at the time?
Well, I mean, as the years went on, I'm not sure who they have now, but they changed out teammates and stuff. But those teammates I had freshman year are very good spiritual people. And one thing the reason I want to tell you guys that story is because if it wasn't for those guys on that team, I may may have quit my freshman year of track and said, oh, this is not for me. You know, I'm not that good. I can't do it. But because those guys pushed me and they said, you can do this, and throughout my entire journey in college track, I had several guys throughout the years push me and encourage me, say, hey, you got this, you got this. And actually, it ended up, after about 2 years of training, I actually ended up making Christian Nationals in the 100 meter. That would have never happened had it not been for these guys. And so the reason I tell you guys that story is because if you have people like that in your life, when you're going through temptations or hard times, they're going to pull you back in the right direction. They're going to encourage you. They're going to push you to do God's will. It becomes a lot easier to do it because you feel motivated, you feel energized, and you feel encouraged to do that. So find some friends in your life you can look up to. Find some accountability partners and talk to them about your struggles. Maybe talk to them once a week. I had a guy when I was in college, God really blessed with the opportunity to be an RA 1 year, which is basically like a resident assistant, resident chaplain is what they call them at our colleges. And I had a guy 1 year come in, he was a basketball player, a really nice guy, and no one thought anything was wrong with him. You know, he seemed like he had it all together. He was a good guy, he played basketball well, you know, the girls liked him and all that. But he came to me one night and said, hey man, can I tell you something? I said, yes, sure. And he said, I really struggle with pornography. And I was like, blew my mind because I thought this guy was the most spiritual guy, you know, one of the most spiritual people I ever met. And I was like, yeah, man, like, talk to me about that. And we talked for probably about 2 or 3 hours that night about this struggle he had. He said he just could not beat it. He could not find it. He said, I'm asking you, can you be an accountability partner for me to help me not do this? So I told him, yeah, I will do this. And for about, I think actually until about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, I paid for this thing once a month, and it's called Covenant Eyes. And basically, what it was every time he looked up a site that was questionable or they got flagged, it gave me an instant report on my email about it. And so then the next week when we met, I could be like, hey bro, like I saw you know, you got flagged a few times this week. We want to talk about that. And just because he knew that somebody was checking in on him and keeping him accountable, it helped him to not give into that temptation as much. And then I helped him get some steps and just talk with him through that. So if you can find an accountability partner in your life, or a 2 or 3, there's power in community. It says in the Bible, when 2 or more gather in God's name, He's in the midst of them. It will be a whole lot easier to fight off temptation, and then you can swim in a pack of eagles and avoid all the crows that life throws at you. And so I want to encourage you with that this morning.